Hello there. I'm Jake Tapper. Welcome back to The Lead. In more world news, intelligence officials have long worried about ISIS and other terrorist groups recruiting and luring Americans, or those with Western passports, to the battlefield in the Middle East to wage jihad. It's no secret from the slickly produced videos and from intelligence reports that Westerners are among the ranks of ISIS fighters, including Americans. The man who talks to the camera in those horrific videos showing the murders of journalists Stephen Sotloff and James Foley, he spoke with what sounds like a British accent. Today, new information about three Denver teenage girls who are believed to have communicated with ISIS and who were stopped by authorities in Germany last month while allegedly trying to join the fight in Syria. CNN's justice correspondent Pamela Brown joins us now with details on how these American teenage girls from Denver became radicalized. Pamela.
Well, Jake, U.S. law enforcement officials I've been speaking with say this case is particularly alarming. We are now learning the Denver teens were interacting online with other Westerners who had already made it to Syria and were trying to convince the teens to do the same. And officials say this case yielded a wealth of information that shows just how ISIS is using Westerners already in its ranks to recruit others through social media. CNN has learned hardened jihadists currently fighting with ISIS overseas had direct contact with three Denver teens, 15 and 17-year-old sisters and their 16-year-old friend, using social media to lure them to jihad.
These were role models to them and people they could be in contact with. Then social media, which is both more immediate and allows you to immerse yourself in an extremist environment, being used as a recruiting platform.
A law enforcement official says some of the jihadist recruiters were Westerners fighting in Syria. They were encouraging the girls to join ISIS, even giving them a roadmap of how to go from Denver all the way to Syria and eventually link up with the brutal terrorist group.
If they're interested in extremism, rather than simply reading an article or reading posts on a message board, they can interact in real time with other people through tweets, and this is very immersive to them.
In October, the teens made it halfway to Syria before they were stopped by authorities in Frankfurt, Germany. After the teens didn't show up for school, their parents alerted authorities, who found a treasure trove of information on the teens' social media profiles.
The recruitment was done online. We were able to compare social media postings of the same girls before they became radicalized and after they were radicalized.
The site intelligence group tracks international terrorists and analyzed the teens' online activity.
The same girl that was asked one day how many hours of music you listen to on a daily basis, and she used to say, I don't know, I can't count, but I dance and I listen to music hours and hours. Then a few months later, she was asked how many hours of music you listen to. She said, music is forbidden.
U.S. officials say this case is a unique opportunity to track efforts by terrorist groups to recruit Westerners. ISIS members have successfully played a role recruiting several Americans online, including Minnesota native Douglas McCain, who was killed in Syria in August. Side intelligence says the Denver teens were communicating with both men and women recruiters.
The girls were in communication with ISIS sisters online, women that are dedicated to recruit women.
And this case reflects a relatively new phenomenon of American teens being lured through social media to fight in Syria. Jake, at this point, the girls have not faced any charges, and the case is ongoing. Jake.
Pamela, why haven't they faced any charges?
I've been asking officials that question for the past several weeks as I've continued to focus on this story, Jake. And essentially, the federal system is just not equipped to bring federal charges, terrorism charges in particular, against juveniles. And I think that is sort of inhibiting authorities from being able to bring charges, federal charges against the teens. Also, I think they don't want to send the wrong message. In this case, it was the parent who went to authorities. I think they don't want to deter parents from doing that, worried that their child might be arrested. And it's really interesting because in talking to authorities, Jake, there are other similar cases with American teens who have been radicalized, and we don't even know about them yet because they weren't charged.
Interesting.
Jake?
Pamela Brown, thank you so much.